Why a cooking video? So with all the stupid dietary fads, high carb, high fat, all that stuff, really if you look at societies that are healthy, here's my baby, what they have most in common are strong food cultures. They don't eat processed foods, and they're very mindful about what they eat. They don't eat when they're walking, they don't eat at their desks, and they cook. So, I think that the two keys to healthy eating are eating whole foods that are cooked by a human being and not a faceless organization, and asking how you feel. If you keep those two things in mind, if you're mindful about the way that you eat, some 95% will not have to worry about seeking medical advice for the way that they eat. What I've done over the last year is 98% of all the meals that I've eaten have been meals that I've cooked myself. And at the same time as I've done this, I've lived a very busy life as a medical student, and I've succeeded. About around the top of my class. So if somebody as busy as me can cook every single meal for himself, I won't say that everybody can, but I think a lot of people can. So within a very short period of time, I'm going to make some food. What I'm going to first make is lentil curry. I haven't made it in a long time because my wife cooks it. So that's even better because the amount of time that I take to cook this will be approximately the amount of time it'll take for you to cook it. I have a crazy baby on my back in the worst circumstances possible. So if I can do this with a crazy baby on my back really fast, then so can you. And the idea of this series is to give you a dozen, 2 dozen different meals that you can make in this way. Lentil curry. So I need vegetable oil. I don't use vegetable oil because I'm not really sure about the scientific legitimacy of a lot of the vegetable oil literature. There's a famous 2010 study that in time I'm going to critique on my blog. I'm not sure that it represents the facts appropriately. So I need a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and here I'll give the time. So right now it's 7:30. So let's see if I can do this within, say, 10 minutes. Of course the cooking will take a little bit longer, but let's see if the amount of work that I put in the prep time, 10 minutes. So I need a tablespoon of vegetable oil. I'm going to use a tablespoon of butter. You can use a little bit more butter than this. Here's a tablespoon, approximately a tablespoon of butter. You can use more than a tablespoon of butter. I found that if you use more butter, your energy levels go down after you eat. So it's a really bad idea to do something like that, to add too much butter. It tastes really good, but you get zonked out. So here's a random onion. I have to actually get the skin off. So let's see if I can do this fast.
Yeah, you just cut the top and bottom.
Just cut the top, yeah, they cut the top and bottom. And, oh, in addition to all this stuff, I'm going to clean up in front of you guys because that's also part of the cooking time. Okay, so I've got an onion. Basically, you take the top and the bottom off in order to take the skin off. I'm going to cut it in half first, and then I'm going to quarter it. And then after I quarter it, I'm going to cut it like this. Make sure your fingers are close to the knife and not the thumb, because you can stand to lose your fingers or tips of your fingers a lot more than you can stand to lose pieces of your thumb. So I've done quartering this thing. I'm going to probably start crying soon. I only need 3/4 of a cup. So where's the cups?
Here.
It's down. I only need 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to use this guy. This guy will give me 3/4 of a cup. So this is more than 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to take out onion until I get 3/4 of a cup, and I'll put the extra onion in the fridge to be used tomorrow. Look, 3/4 of a cup. It's right, going right in here. Now I'm also going to add 3 cups of water. So we're going to go here. After this, I'm going to have 1 cup of lentils. Lentils are great food. They're delicious. I don't know why more people don't eat them. The ideal situation is to make sure that you soak your lentils overnight before you start this recipe. However, I have not done that. That just means I need to up the cooking time. Because the thing about the lentils, if you don't soak them ahead of time and you don't cook them long enough, some of the lentils will be hard, and it's a little less pleasant from a texture point of view, and probably from a nutritional point of view, to eat the lentils. So I need 1 cup of lentils. You'll probably wash them. So I'm going to take this bowl. So I've got a little screen. This allows me to get the water out and then still keep the lentils. Alright, super simple. There's these better screens. I don't know what this screen is really used for. There's screens at the store. We still haven't replaced ours yet. Whoa, with this kind of handle. Have a kind of a white handle. Okay, so that's 1 cup of lentils. Then, so I need a half a tablespoon of coriander. We have half tablespoons, right? And where the tablespoons are down here?
Here.
It's in here. And where's the
The
coriander?
bag, brown bag on
Is
your
it-
left side.
This one. So I'm going to go with 1/2 tablespoon. Usually, actually, I think I double this recipe up. So right now I'm doing half of the normal recipe. Curry powder is going to be...
You got one. Yeah, that one.
Which
Where-
one?
The
This
bottom.
is turmeric.
Oh, bottom.
Curry powder. So here's the curry powder. And as you get to cooking your kitchen, you don't need to buy a book that tells you a list of essential items in the kitchen. So 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger. Alright, so there's the ground ginger. So prep time, about 8 minutes so far. All we need is salt, and then we're in. So 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
Yeah.
So a little bit of salt is careening over as I try to bounce the baby up and down. Alright. Top your pressure cooker lid, and where's the cap? Here's the cap of the pressure cooker lid. You basically just close it. You turn it on high. You wait until it starts to sizzle. Then you turn it down to about half the heat. And then I wait the amount of time that it's supposed to cook with a timer. Then I turn off the heat, and we're done. So that's what it is now, and this is about a minute after I put that thing on the stove. So 10 minutes of basically work, and the rest of the time is just monitoring the stove. When your pressure cooker is making this sound, that's when you change it from high to 5. And then 6 minutes later, which is right now, I am turning off the stove. And I'm just going to sit here and let this wait for the next half an hour, and then I'll have a meal to eat. There are a few modifications I would make to this meal. This is the first time I've cooked this meal since my wife returned to live with me. And usually I use half a sweet potato, and then I also add about between a half a tablespoon and a tablespoon of sugar. Sugar, traditionally, before the 16th century, whenever the European powers colonized the Caribbean and began the large-scale sugar trade, sugar has been used either as a spice or as a medicine in small quantities. As a medicine, actually there might be some evidence to support perhaps analgesic effects of sugar, but on the whole, not entirely legitimate. As a spice, however, this was a great idea. So before the 16th century, you could add a little bit of sugar to things to subtly alter a recipe in the same way that any other spice would. Thus, up until about the 16th century, sugar was considered a spice. I use this recipe plus half a tablespoon of sugar to a tablespoon of sugar plus a half a sweet potato. In the past, I've doubled the recipe, so instead of 1 cup of lentils, I do 2 cups of lentils, and instead of all these other ingredients, I just double them in the same. So my daughter's gone to bed now. I'd say it's been about 20-25 minutes since I last talked to you. Whenever I don't know what this is called, but this thing here, whenever it goes down, whenever it drops, it indicates that the pressure is no longer high within the unit. Then you can open it. Of course, you can't open these units before this goes down because there's safe mechanisms that prevent you from being able to open it so that you don't kill yourself. But as soon as it goes down, that's when you know you are now able to open it. So I'm going to open it. Ooh. So it's not still cooking heavily, unlike what I had anticipated. Based on the doubling sort of recipe, whenever you have more water, the heat is going to stay high for a longer period of time. With the normal recipe actually seems like it's finished. So here you go. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Sweet potatoes is even better. Sweet potato might add an extra 30 seconds onto it. So that's that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up now. So I'm going to show you how long cleanup time takes. Can you see the watch?
Yeah.
So it's 8:22. Okay, finished. It's now 31. So that could have probably been cut into half because I could have talked a little bit less. At the very maximum, you spent 20 minutes of active time. Probably could have cut that down to 15 minutes if I'd been a little bit more practiced. So. And that is the conclusion to the first farmarian.com cooking video.